The moment begins long before you ever see the airplane. It starts with a quiet thought, a small question that crosses the mind of almost every traveler at some point. What if flying didn't have to feel exhausting? What if a long journey across the sky could feel calm, spacious, even deeply comfortable? For many people, flying has become something to endure rather than enjoy. Crowded cabins, tight seats, endless hours shifting in place, waiting for the destination to arrive. The experience often feels rushed, compressed, and restless. But somewhere high above the clouds, hidden within certain aircraft cabins, there exists a completely different reality. A place where the seat is not just a seat. It becomes a personal space. A place where your body can relax, where your legs can stretch, where sleep actually feels possible at 35,000 feet. A seat designed not simply to transport you across the world, but to take care of you along the way. Today we're exploring one of the most fascinating experiences in modern aviation. The most comfortable airline seat ever designed for passengers who want something better than the ordinary flight. Not the crowded rows of economy. Not even the polished prestige of business class. But something uniquely engineered for pure comfort, balance, and space. A seat that quietly transforms the entire journey. And once you experience it, flying the old way suddenly feels impossible to return to. Because the moment you sit down, something changes. The body relaxes. The cabin feels quieter. And the long flight ahead begins to feel less like travel, and more like time set aside for yourself. To understand why this seat feels so different, the story begins at the airport. For most travelers in the United States, airport terminals are busy places. Rolling suitcases echo across polished floors. Departure boards glow overhead with destinations stretching across continents. Travelers move quickly between security lines, coffee stands, and departure gates, each one preparing for hours in the air. But the experience begins to feel different when you know that the flight ahead will be comfortable. Instead of worrying about cramped seating or stiff legs, the anticipation shifts towards something else. Space. Rest. The quiet luxury of knowing that the next several hours might actually be enjoyable. Check-in counters feel calmer when there is no rush to fight for overhead space. Boarding passes carry a quiet promise that the seat waiting on the aircraft will offer something rare in aviation today: room to breathe. Walking through the terminal, you begin to notice how travel changes when comfort becomes part of the journey instead of a luxury reserved for only the most expensive cabins. Many airlines that offer these exceptionally comfortable seats also create a smoother pre-flight atmosphere. Priority boarding lines move quietly. Lounge access offers a peaceful moment before the flight begins. Soft lighting, warm coffee, and wide windows overlooking the runway allow travelers to watch aircraft glide in and out of the sky. From these lounge windows, airplanes look powerful yet elegant. Long wings stretch outward while engines rest silently beneath them, waiting to come alive. And somewhere inside one of those aircraft cabins sits a seat that represents years of engineering, passenger research, and thoughtful design. A seat built for the human body. A seat built for long journeys. Eventually, boarding begins. Passengers walk down the jet bridge, and the soft hum of the aircraft's environmental systems becomes louder with every step. The smell of fresh cabin air mixes with the faint scent of leather and fabric. Inside the aircraft, the first impression often surprises people. Instead of endless tight rows, the cabin feels open. The lighting is warm and calm, often glowing in soft tones of blue, amber, or gold. Overhead bins curve smoothly into the ceiling design, creating a sense of height and space. The aisle feels wider than expected. And then you see the seat. At first glance, it doesn't scream for attention. It doesn't rely on dramatic luxury or flashy design. Instead, it invites you in quietly. The seat looks wide. Substantially wide. Wider than a standard economy seat by several inches, sometimes reaching close to the width of certain domestic business class seats. For travelers who have spent years flying in narrow seats where shoulders brush against strangers, that extra space immediately feels noticeable. The armrests are solid, comfortable, and well padded. The seat base is deeper, allowing the legs to relax naturally instead of bending sharply at the edge of the cushion. But the real difference appears when you sit down. The cushion supports your weight evenly. Your knees are not pressed into the seat in front of you. Your feet have room to stretch forward. And suddenly, the cabin begins to feel less like transportation, and more like a comfortable room traveling through the sky. The distance between rows is often where the magic happens. While standard economy seating on many airlines offers around 30 inches of pitch, these ultra-comfortable seats can offer 38, 40, or even 42 inches. That difference transforms the entire experience. It means your legs can stretch. It means you can lean back without worrying about the person behind you. It means getting up during the flight doesn't require complicated movements or apologies. And once passengers begin to settle into the seat, the small details start revealing themselves. A footrest folds gently upward. A calf support extends forward. The recline moves smoothly instead of abruptly. Suddenly the seat feels less like furniture, and more like a lounge chair floating above the clouds. Lighting across the cabin softens as the aircraft begins pushback. Outside the windows, airport lights reflect across the aircraft wing while ground vehicles move slowly across the ramp. Inside, passengers begin adjusting their seats, exploring buttons, unfolding tray tables, and placing personal items into cleverly designed storage compartments. And this is where the seat begins to show its thoughtful engineering. Every surface feels intentional. The tray table is larger and more stable, making it comfortable for laptops or meals. Seat back screens are larger, often reaching 13 or even 15 inches. Charging ports sit conveniently within reach. Little pockets inside tables hold phones, headphones, and water bottles. These are small details individually, but together they create a sense of order. Nothing feels cramped. Nothing feels rushed. As the aircraft lines up on the runway, engines slowly build power. The cabin vibrates softly, a reminder that the quiet space around you is about to launch into motion. Then the thrust increases. Acceleration pushes passengers gently into their seats as the aircraft begins its climb. Within moments the ground begins falling away, city lights stretching across the horizon before fading into darkness. And somewhere during that climb, the seat beneath you begins proving why comfort matters so much during long flights. Because this is where time changes. On a short flight, any seat feels manageable. But during journeys that stretch across 5, 8, or even 12 hours, the design of a seat becomes one of the most important factors in the entire travel experience. Comfortable seats reduce fatigue. They reduce stress on the back and legs. They allow passengers to move, shift, relax, and sleep. And when engineers began designing these ultra-comfortable airline seats, they studied something surprisingly complex: human posture during flight. Air travel creates unique challenges for the body. Cabin pressure, limited movement, and long periods of sitting can create stiffness, swelling, and discomfort. So designers began asking a simple question: how do you build a seat that supports the body for hours at a time without creating pressure points? The answer required layers of foam densities, ergonomic seat shapes, adjustable headrests, and carefully balanced recline angles. The result is a seat that feels supportive instead of rigid, firm enough to maintain posture, soft enough to encourage relaxation. And as the aircraft reaches cruising altitude, the environment inside the cabin begins settling into its rhythm. Seatbelt signs turn off. Flight attendants move quietly through the aisle offering drinks. Passengers begin exploring the entertainment systems. The soft glow of individual screens illuminates the cabin, and the seat continues revealing its secrets. The recline often extends far deeper than most people expect. Not quite a full flat bed like international business class, but far beyond the limited lean of economy seats. Combined with the leg rest and foot support, the body naturally settles into a comfortable position that feels ideal for watching movies or reading. Blankets arrive, soft and surprisingly warm. Pillows support the neck and shoulders. Noise in the cabin fades into a gentle background hum. And suddenly the flight begins to feel peaceful. Food service on flights with these premium comfort seats often reflects the elevated experience. Instead of tightly packed trays, meals arrive with thoughtful presentation. Hot dishes are served with proper utensils. Fresh salads, warm bread, and desserts feel closer to restaurant quality than typical airline meals. And because the seating configuration allows more space between passengers, the dining experience feels calm rather than rushed. Passengers have room to enjoy their meal without elbows colliding or trays shifting unexpectedly. After the meal service ends, the cabin lights dim slowly. Outside the windows, the sky stretches endlessly across the horizon. Stars sometimes appear brighter at altitude. And for travelers hoping to sleep during the flight, this is where the true value of a comfortable seat becomes clear. Sleeping on airplanes has always been difficult. But when a seat reclines deeply, when leg rests support the lower body, and when pillows cradle the head properly, sleep becomes something real instead of something attempted. Passengers lean back. Blankets cover their legs. Headrests adjust to support the neck. And gradually the cabin grows quiet. Some travelers drift into several hours of genuine rest. Others simply relax, watching films, listening to music, or gazing out into the dark sky. Either way, the journey begins to pass differently. Instead of counting the hours until landing, the flight becomes time spent comfortably. Time that doesn't feel wasted. And somewhere in the middle of the flight, many passengers realize something surprising. Their body doesn't feel tense. Their legs aren't cramped. Their back isn't aching. The seat has quietly done exactly what it was designed to do: support the journey. This type of seating has become especially popular on long domestic flights across the United States. Routes such as New York to Los Angeles or Boston to San Francisco can stretch beyond 6 hours. For travelers making those journeys regularly, upgrading from standard economy to one of these ultra-comfortable seats can completely transform the experience. Suddenly those cross-country flights become manageable. Even enjoyable. Business travelers arrive less exhausted. Vacation travelers begin their trips feeling relaxed instead of drained. And airlines have recognized that passengers are increasingly willing to invest in comfort. Not everyone needs the expense of international business class. But many travelers happily choose a seat that offers space, legroom, and relaxation without the extreme price tag. That balance is exactly why these seats are sometimes called the hidden sweet spot of aviation. They provide far more comfort than economy, yet remain accessible to many travelers. As the flight continues through the night sky, the cabin remains peaceful. Occasional footsteps pass through the aisle. Soft light glows from the galley. Engines hum steadily outside the wings. And the seat beneath you continues doing its quiet work. Supporting your back. Supporting your legs. Allowing your body to rest. Eventually the first signs of morning begin appearing beyond the windows. A faint orange glow touches the horizon. Cabin lights slowly brighten. Passengers begin waking gently, stretching arms and legs that surprisingly feel refreshed. Breakfast service begins. Coffee aromas drift through the aisle. Warm pastries arrive on trays. And travelers realize something unexpected. The flight felt shorter than expected. Because when comfort replaces tension, time moves differently. Soon the aircraft begins its descent. City skylines appear below. Roads, rivers, and neighborhoods slowly grow larger beneath the wings. Seatbacks return upright. Passengers gather belongings. But this time, there is no stiffness when standing. No desperate stretching after hours of cramped seating. Instead, there is something rare in modern air travel. A feeling of arrival without exhaustion. The seat that carried you across the sky has quietly transformed the journey. And as passengers walk off the aircraft into the terminal, many of them realize something important. They don't want to go back to flying the old way. Because once you discover what true comfort feels like in the air, every cramped seat suddenly feels outdated. Air travel was once seen as glamorous, exciting, and full of possibility. Somewhere along the way, that magic faded for many passengers. But experiences like this remind us that flying can still feel special. That a seat designed with care can change an entire journey. That comfort is not just luxury, it's a better way to travel. And for travelers who spend hours crossing oceans, continents, or entire countries, the right seat becomes more than a piece of equipment. It becomes part of the experience, part of the story, part of the memory of the journey itself. Because sometimes the best part of travel isn't just arriving somewhere new. Sometimes it's the quiet moments in between. 35,000 feet above the earth. Wrapped in a comfortable seat. Watching the world slowly pass beneath the wings. If you enjoyed discovering this incredible aviation experience, let us know in the comments which airline seat you think offers the best comfort in the sky. And if you love exploring luxury aviation, premium travel experiences, and the hidden secrets of flying, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. There are many more incredible journeys waiting above the clouds, and we'll be exploring them together.